This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. If you didn't see the video I did this week covering technology, robots, how we're all going to need to build EMPs to short circuit these things, well, I recommend you do watch that video because this story just came out less than 24 hours ago, and this looks like it could potentially be actually more of an operation than a real story if you watch the footage I'm going to show you from the news, because the guy actually comes out of the bus. And so the story is that a guy was on a bus and was armed, but he wasn't like shooting up the bus. He had a gun on him, which apparently is now illegal to carry. I'm pretty sure in some places you can carry it, but obviously this is from Commie, California. So in Commie, California, if any civilian has a gun, people call 911 because that's really dangerous. And they never think to themselves, well, what about these police officers running around with guns? You know, the same ones that we tell everybody we need to disband and get rid of and tell everybody that they're racist, et cetera, et cetera. It's okay for them, even though the majority of people in California don't trust the police. But that's not here nor there. The point of the story is that they called the police, and the police came to apprehend the guy on the bus who was armed. And of course, they brought a robot dog. That's right. We're living in communist China now. They brought a robot dog who was armed, who went onto the bus to disarm the man with a gun. This is what we're headed towards, because this is what's going to be going on in all of our homes. They're going to start just giving trust to technology, which is why they've built in these psyops, telling people not to trust the police are racist, etc. And I'm not sitting here being a proponent of the police, okay? Because I understand the police go through the fraternal Masonic orders that all these sheriffs, these higher ups in the police are all Freemasons, okay? They're in these positions to hide real truths from you, like SRA and all other things when crimes come out that are very clearly done by satanic cults that they don't want you to know about because they don't want you to think they exist. Otherwise, they'd all be arrested, apprehended, and thrown in jail where they belong. So this story looks like it could be a staged story by the way that the guy comes off the bus and how the police react. It looks like it's just a scene that's being acted out, which you could decide for yourself. But the point of me covering it isn't the guy on the bus. The point of me covering it is the fact that who is allowing this to happen in our society? As human beings, how are we giving them this power where they could literally unleash RoboCop on us and say, hey, it's RoboCop. Oh, that's great. That's great. How do we stop RoboCop? Well, then they're like, well, civilians can't shoot at it. Oh, right. So this thing could just come out at us armed with a machine gun, with an assault rifle, you know, the things they want to take away, and we're pretty much screwed, right? This is what we're getting. This is the point we're at, where nobody's thinking, and they're like, oh, that's great. You know, instead of a racist human being police officer, we had a machine arrest the guy. This is what we need more of, right? All right. And then when they turn on you, they're like, that won't happen. It won't be like Terminator. Oh, no. The people controlling the robots and programming them are the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, the psychopaths of the world, times 10 trillion. People you can't even imagine how sick they are. They're the ones who are programming it, but we could trust the people that we don't know who are programming these and unleashing them on our society. Are you kidding me? Take a look at this news story.
First on 5, the LAPD deploying a robot dog to assist with an hours-long standoff on a Metro bus involving an armed suspect. Everything came to a peaceful end. KTLA's Alina Bovian live in East Hollywood with the details for us. Alina, good morning.
Frank, good morning. That's right. This did come to a peaceful end. The suspect eventually surrendered to police and no one was injured. He was taken into custody without incident. You can see here behind me that the scene is all clear, but you mentioned this robot dog. This new technology really played a very big part in bringing this situation to a calm resolution. Now take a look. This is the video. You can see this robot dog with the LAPD, with the SWAT team in full action this morning. This is Melrose and Western. The armed suspect was taken into custody with the help of this robot dog. LAPD SWAT officers deployed the dog to assist, saying the use of this technology really helped resolve the situation without putting any officers or community members in harm's way. You can see in this video the suspect cooperating with officers as he surrendered. This all started around 4:30 this morning. A call came in from a passenger on the bus, a 911 call saying that another passenger was asleep and had a gun under his seat. The bus is an LA Metro bus, which was going northbound on Western this morning, approaching Melrose. The driver pulling over, waiting for LAPD officers to arrive. The suspect was supposedly sitting motionless and sleeping. Pretty soon, the LAPD set up a large perimeter around this area, and a SWAT team was called, and the robot dog was deployed to retrieve the gun from the suspect. The robot dog, as he began to approach the suspect, we're hearing he woke up, leaving the gun, and ultimately surrendered to police. According to LA Metro, a handful of passengers were on the bus along with the driver, and they all made it off the bus safely. The LAPD clarifying to us this was not a hostage situation. However, it's still unclear exactly what this guy's motive was and why he was armed, and also why he fell asleep, not waking up for several hours, considering this standoff lasted about 3 hours. Now back out here live, no word if this guy will be facing any charges. He is in police custody, and the scene here, Melrose Western, back open at this hour. I'm Lena Bourbon reporting live in Hollywood, KTLA 5 News.
So no surprise that this is happening in commie California, because this is happening in lib states. Again, lib states are asylums. That's what they're turning them into on purpose. Now, the people who are liberal, who think that this stuff is great, are all lunatics. I mean, these are the same people, again, who are telling you that men can have babies and want to castrate kids. Okay, they're psychopaths. In any other generation, they're called psychopaths, and they shouldn't even, not only should they not have a right to vote, except they should have no rights, because these people are not human beings, and they're psychopaths, right? And they're making society more and more dangerous by saying things like this are safe and okay for the rest of us to have to deal with. So the liberal states, not just California, are ushering this stuff in because they know that civilians in more conservative states likely wouldn't stand for it. Take a look now. This has also happened in another major lib state, because this is what it's going to look like. Remember, they're herding people into states. The lib states are going to become smart cities. Smart cities, remember, it's a governance, technology governing the cities, right? That's what the World Economic Forum pushes. That's what they talk about. What do they mean by that? They mean even the police. They're going to enforce laws and rules with technology, with robots who are going to be armed. And you're not in these cities. They're even doing it in New York. Look.
Well, it seems like something out of a sci-fi movie. Robots appearing in the city's underground.
Fox 5's Richard G. Kovas shows us how the NYPD says this new tech will help with public safety.
To some strap hangers, it may look like something you'd find wandering around your local Stop and Shop.
It's really weird. What is it?
Weird, maybe. But this RoboCop, well, it's so much more than that.
We're taking existing technology, cameras, being able to communicate with people, and we're placing it on wheels.
Behold the NYPD's newest Crime Stopper, K5 Autonomous, a security robot that will soon patrol the Times Square 42nd Street subway station.
We will continue to stay ahead of those who want to harm everyday New Yorkers.
Mayor Eric Adams unveiling K5 today underground, part of his new push to increase law enforcement technology in the country's largest transit system. The rollout comes despite crime in the city's subways, down 4.5% compared to last year, according to police.
We are taking an expansive camera network in the subway system and adding to it.
The 400-pound, 5'3" K5 is nothing short of being high-tech. It's equipped with 4 cameras that will allow it to send back live video without audio to the police department. K5 will not use facial recognition technology either. It will patrol the subway station's mezzanine level, not the platforms. But some subway riders say they're a bit concerned about their invasion of privacy. Others appreciate another set of eyes, even if it's in robot form.
Well, I like that there are, even though they're not human eyes, that there are eyes that are following what's going on the platform.
I think that, yeah, it's an invasion of privacy because of us, the public, we don't agree to it. It shouldn't be put.
You can begin seeing K5 Autonomous as early as tonight, roaming around the city subways with a human officer from midnight to 6 a.m. That officer will be introducing the robot to riders. It'll then get to know its surroundings for the next 2 weeks before becoming an official member of the NYPD Transit Unit for the next 2 months. We're in the Times Square subway station. Richard G. Kovas, Fox 5 News.
So, the title of the story from the first clip you saw is allegedly an armed man on a bus in Hollywood was arrested with thanks to a robot dog who was deployed onto the scene. Now, you saw the clips, and obviously we could all look at it and go, is that really legit? Because the guy comes out and just starts talking. The police don't rush up and apprehend him. He doesn't have a gun in his hand. Why are they letting him stand there and yammer? And, it looks like a staged event. But the point is they're trying to get you prepared for this to be the new norm. They want you to see a story like this and say, that's great. That is excellent. There was a dangerous man on a bus. And first of all, the whole thing should be, wait a minute, what did the guy do? oh, he was armed. Because they want you to think that anybody who's armed, whether they have a right to be armed or not, is considered a threat, right? So the guy's on the bus, and normally the story, because the guy was black, you would hear it a different twist to it. But in this case, they want to promote that robo-dog and this type of technology enslaving us, so they'll stay away from the fact that the guy happened to be black and it was a robotic dog, even though the liberal media would normally, if it was a white human cop, they'd be like, why is a white human cop going after the black guy who's armed? He's going after the black guy's arm because he's racist and the guy didn't do anything wrong. But instead of this situation, they don't want you to think like that. So, every story they have to tell you how to think. And here they want you to just be oohed and awed by the robot dog. Now, where do we see the robot dogs in addition to the liberal cities? We see it in communist China. China deployed all these things, and I covered it over the years. And those videos are available on the website because, of course, they've been scrubbed off YouTube. They don't want you to know that, obviously, China is the blueprint for how everything's going to look. Right? Over there, they had these robo-dogs literally with thermal imaging and all that other crap, but they were literally taking people's temperatures on the streets, and they were monitoring anybody who went after curfew. So if you left your house at 9 o'clock at night because you were hungry, oh, you're not allowed to. Guess what? Robo-dog was coming after you. It was going to probably shoot at people. It probably does shoot at people who disobey over in China. But they'll show you some stories and be like, oh, isn't that cool? It's making sure nobody's going out. So we're now enslaved to technology. And people don't even think, who could be controlling it? Who's running it? They just unleash this like an iPhone onto people? Like it just has its own brain and its own thinking? These psychopaths are unleashing this stuff, and we're allowing them to unleash it. When are we going to stop it from happening? It needs to happen now. Now, not later, now. And I implore people, and I honestly don't care. People are like, oh, this guy's a psycho. He's yelling about this stuff. Yeah, and then it's going to be too late. And the same people who are like, this is crazy, that guy's crazy, they're talking about this kind of stuff, are going to be like, how did we get to this point? I'm going to say, well, I was yelling about it. They're going to be like, no, you weren't. Because they just still won't even believe them. No, you weren't. You weren't trying to stop it. No, I don't remember you saying that. Yeah, no. We're all saying it because we're going to get enslaved by this crap. You're not going to be able to do anything about it. What are you going to do? Shoot a bullet at this thing? It's bulletproof. It's made so it's bulletproof. So then what? Well, you're going to have to build EMPs. Okay, that's what I'm telling everybody, and that's what I'll continue to tell you guys here on my channel. We have to short circuit these things. We have to get past it. They're going to pass bills that are going to make it illegal to do this because they're going to come up with some bull crap where they're like, oh, people are using it, and then they're turning people's power off, or they're short circuiting people's car. They'll make up all types of bull crap, okay, so that you can't protect yourselves from this stuff, because they're going to enslave you with it. And the smart cities are going to run just like that, right? Just like that scene that you just saw. That's what it's going to look like. So we need to be prepared. You're going to have to short circuit this stuff, and humans are going to have to band together. And then look, I get it. It sounds like I'm talking out of a sci-fi movie, but the reality is that those truths are there. The truth is in all those movies. I mean, now we're seeing it in real time. At what point is somebody going to go, hey, who's regulating it? Who's monitoring it? They claim that this dog, if you're wondering, was a donation. A $278,000 robot that was donated. Donated from who? The devil? Who donated? Let me guess, Bill Gates? Who gave these people and gives these people the right to build these things and unleash them in our society? What if that thing shoots a kid? Oops. Oh, the news won't cover it, because then they realize if they covered it on the news, that people will go, you know what? I don't care anything about your politics, etc. This stuff we don't need. We don't need we can't trust this. No, they want to constantly build trust in you with your technology. They're making people fall in love with robots, anime characters, chat GPTs. They're telling you to date, all this type of stuff. They are destroying human beings' souls, their minds, everything about them because of technology. And if you live one day without your technology, you would say, oh my gosh, that must be crazy to go a day like the Amish go. Yeah, I guarantee you by the end of the day, you'd be like, oh my goodness, my soul feels way more fulfilled. I feel a lot better being away from it. Not only just because you're not near the frequencies in the 5G, even though it's hard to hide from that because they put towers on every corner, but just your mind freely thinking, seeing things, not stuck on your device where they're enslaving you into these devices, and then they're programming you with your devices, with the fake news, with how you're supposed to behave and how you're supposed to act, and all these pansies you see on YouTube, these men that get promoted on YouTube, like the guy who so I've mentioned it recently, if anyone didn't hear, some guy, Penguins, Moist something. I didn't know who this guy was. Somebody's told, oh, this guy's got like 15 million subs. He did a video, and he put my video up, and then conveniently all my channels went away right after that. So he's clearly a YouTube puppet because nobody would be listening to this guy. Guy's like 80 pounds soaking wet. He's telling you who should be monetized, who should have this and that. These guys all need to be rounded up. Enough is enough already with these people destroying our society. We're empowering these people, these weak men who are going out to censor other people, telling you how to live, et cetera, et cetera. My point of bringing the guy, these are the kind of men we're living among. They're like, the technology's great. Oh, these guys are crazy. Oh, they're all conspiracy nuts. When crap hits the fan, those people are going to get steamrolled. And I'm not going to hesitate to steamroll them, okay? Because I'm not going to watch the youth out there. I'm not going to watch other Christians out there where these people have already influenced them into being weak. These men that they oh, yeah, don't question, don't say anything. You'll hurt somebody's feelings. Oh, my gosh. That's what we're worried about now, people's feelings. While they have robo-dogs running among us, armed. And they want us unarmed. And we're not going, yeah, no. We're going, oh, okay, well, we can trust that. Right? Then all of a sudden they start turning on people and they go, that's not really happening. You're making it up. It wasn't on the news because they're not going to tell you. This all must stop. All of it. I mean, men need to put their foot down with this stuff. We need to steamroll over these weak men, the ones who are grooming the behavior. And my point being, and bringing up the guy Penguins, isn't because the guy probably got my channels taken down. It's because these are the guys that are promoted. And then kids see the behavior of these guys, right? Tattletaling on other men. I mean, this is not how men behave. Tattletaling, squealing, telling you what you can and cannot say. Kids see this stuff and then they're like, oh, they're influenced by it. All people are. That's why you need to get off the technology. They're grooming you every which way they can. You can say, well, you're on YouTube right now. I shouldn't be listening to you. Then don't listen. Don't listen. I don't care if people don't listen every day. If I was doing this for a popularity contest, I would have quit a long time ago. I already had my peak of popularity on here, and I couldn't care less about it. The only reason I'm mad about some of that stuff is because I was reaching people and waking people up and helping them, okay? And that's why I continue to do that, because we're going to have a society of brainwashed, we already have it, and brainwashed zombies, and then men who don't know how to be men anymore. Women who are just completely brainwashed and empowering themselves cluelessly. They're like, it's not a job to be a mom. It's not a job. Being a mom, that's a chore. Is it? It's the most important job in the world. Moms aren't being moms. Why do you think these kids are so stupid and corrupted? And they're not living godly lives because they're taking the moms out of the household. Every family needs a mother. They tell the mom, it's not a job. That's a stereotype. You need to work in an office. Meanwhile, they never tell you about the office. They put all these women in CEO positions on purpose, and those companies go right into the ground. Their revenue goes right into the ground, right? And that's not a shot at women. That's just the truth, right? But they put the women in there, then the kids are getting raised in the institutions without their moms, making kids weak, making kids dumb, telling women this. So women are doing it, men are doing it. We can't allow this to continue on. And then on the flip side of all of it, enslaved to the technology, they release these things. Where are the laws protecting us from this stuff? There aren't any. Our government's supposed to protect us. That's what their job is. They're not doing it. So stop paying your taxes, stop funding their salaries, and throw them out and start afresh. There's way more of us than them. They don't want you to think like that. They don't want you to think, oh, that's dangerous. Is it dangerous? It's dangerous that you're allowing robotic police dogs to be armed in our streets, and we're supposed to trust it. God's supposed to trust it. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, you're supposed to trust it? How come when I call my cable company or something, my internet company, I can't even get a person on the phone because the robot that's answering it can't even understand human language. It's like, what? Huh? You need help with this? No, I don't, a-hole. I need you to put a person on the phone, a human being. Well, let me try to resolve that for you myself. What? No. They can't even do that, but we can let them be armed and run in the streets, right? Saying they're protecting us. They want to get guns out of civilians' hands, right? Like this guy on the bus, this story, which is obviously suspicious. But they want to arm these machines and tell us that, hey, it's better, it's safe. This is how stupid we've gotten. And we've enabled this by not doing anything about it. We need to stop it now. We need to stop it. And we need to get these weak men they need to be rounded up. These weak men, these penguin guys, all of them. Look at them. You can look at them and you could literally probably knock the guy unconscious by breathing on them. And they would be like, you're breathing on me. That's assault. This is what we're living in. They're taking our rights away. And then civilians are taking other civilians' rights away. And then they're grooming the behavior of kids. They're like, you shouldn't say anything, hurt somebody's feeling. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We're about to go into World War III. And we literally have people talking about feelings and all this other stuff. Our rights are being stripped. We're allowing robot cop dogs to be armed in our streets. And nobody goes, who's controlling it? Well, it doesn't matter, right? They're like, oh, what do you think, Dr. Frankenstein's? No, I think worse. I think way worse. I think Bill Gates. I think Klaus Schwab. People that you wouldn't let within 100 feet of your neighbor's kid, let alone your own, right? And we're letting them do all this stuff. What does the song say? It's where have all the good men gone? I don't know. They're putting on lipstick, apparently. The good men are putting on lipstick these days and putting on silk stockings. Where have all the good women gone? They're putting on business suits and telling you that it's a woman's body or choice and not realizing the importance of being a mom. And now we have this chaotic world that we're living in, where next thing you know, all the lip states are going to have all these robocops. You see how these stories work and how they transform? It's always been what? The cops are racist. That's the story of the last 5 years. Cops are racist. Cops are bad. We need to defund the police. Well, then they roll in with these robots and they tell us, well, we can trust them. They don't see skin color or anything else, right? They would never tell you that robo-dog was racist. They should. Clearly he was, because the guy wasn't even doing anything, right? They would never tell you that because they want you to think technology's pure and perfect and doesn't judge, and it could regulate and everything could run perfectly and smoothly. Just like with sports, they don't want human referees, no human error. They want us to give all of our rights to be enslaved by tech. Okay, this is World Economic Forum's plan. This is the Smart City plan. All of this stuff ties together. And they use these subliminal things where they're not really subliminal, but they program you to hate the cops, right? It's easy to hate the police, isn't it? Right? I mean, we all see, everybody's dealt with cops before. Well, obviously I covered the fact that they're Masonic. So yeah, people are like, oh, well, we don't want non-human beings to be in charge because we're going to be screwed. Because you could shoot 1,000,000 bullets at this thing, ain't going to be able to do nothing. Now, you might be able to, it's probably like what, a couple tons, not tons, but hundreds of pounds. Maybe you could throw it in a river somewhere if you can get up to it close enough without it shooting you. I mean, it's got, thermal imaging and all this stuff. It's going to be able to see in the dark. I mean, nobody's concerned though. You know what they're concerned about? What pronouns we need to identify other people as and not offend them or we'll be fined as humans. The power needs to be taken out of these psychopaths' hands. Now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. Now, enough is enough. How much more of this are we going to take as human beings? Do you know why they keep us divided? So that they can continue to do stuff like this and get away with it. If they weren't dividing everybody, having everybody fight over nonsense, people would be like, I didn't agree to that. Who put this, who allows this here with the robot deal? Huh? Well, they don't even want you to ask a question about it. They want you to just ooh and ah and be like, whoa, that's neat. Yeah, until it's at your front door, holding a gun in each robotic butt cheek pointed at your head. And you're like, wait, I'm going to get my gun. Oh, you can't. Why? Because the thing's bulletproof. Oh, but they'll never do that. You're crazy. You're a conspiracy nut. Right. I remember like 7 years ago talking about how they were going to make this fake virus up so they could poison people. And everyone was like, you're crazy, man. They're never going to do that. You're nuts. And I said, no, they've been trying to do it. They've been trying to convince you with other methods. They're going to be a big one coming, right? Then that big thing happened. Whatever they say, you're crazy, man. Right? And even years later, everyone's going, see, those people were right. And they're going, no, they were crazy, man. I'm going to go get my next one, my boost. Huh? Yeah. There's a problem here. A real problem. Humans are becoming the biggest problem because we're all becoming just so okay with what they're doing. That's why I keep pointing it out. Never in history has this happened. And never in history would men and women allow this to happen, especially men. This is on men. Women are getting tricked and duped, and that's why a lot of these younger generations of children are just clueless wastes of space, which it's not too late to help them out. Their brains are still absorbing stuff. Got to get them away from the tech. The moms need to be doing that. The men need to be acting like men, right? Instead of what the men doing. They're like, oh, did you see what was trending? What was trending? Some guy was bathing in hot dogs. Oh, really? Neat. I can't wait to check it out. Oh, Mr. Beast did what? Oh, he's sitting on water bottles, and then he's just blowing them up like rockets. Oh, cool. This is what men are doing, right? Then they got men distracted with all this other crap. Porn and, drugs and gambling. Let's all step away from it and realize that they're going to enslave us, and we're already enslaved, but it's going to get worse. And eventually they're going to be coming to your door with these things, taking your kids and your wives out of your home. You might say, hey, take my wife. Ha, ha, ha. Take my mother-in-law. It's not going to be funny when it happens. It's not. Just like when we wake up and everything's off and there's no water and no food, and people are going to be like, this guy's nuts. He's fear-mongering. Okay. Was I fear-mongering when all this stuff went down with the outbreak? Was I fear-mongering 7 years ago when I told you that they'd be dating and trying to date 5-year-olds? You don't see where we're headed? Was it fear-mongering when I talked about how they were adulting young kids? Was it fear-mongering? Or was it truth? The signs and all this stuff are right in front of us. We can all see where this is headed. Just people don't want to accept it. They're like, it's too much to think about. It's too scary. I'm just going to pretend what he's saying is not actually happening. And I'm going to believe that the robo-dog's going to be like RoboCop. And he's going to be friends and save us from the boogeyman in the caves of Afghanistan. Yeah? To that thing, you are the guy in the caves in Afghanistan. Those things are going to be lined up in the streets and no one's going to know what to do. And they're going to shoot at it and it's going to do nothing. And they're going to go, what's an EMP and what is that stuff? And they're going to go, well, you can't build those. Those are dangerous. The government's already took all the materials away from actually building those types of things. And again, when I say building those things, I get it, how difficult of a task that is. It's a real difficult task because you need to build a strong one because these things have protectors in there so they don't short circuit. So you got to build a big one. Big one. All of us need to. Our developments and our apartment complexes and our street corners all should have these things. And then we should be short-circuiting the 5G towers is what we should be doing. But no, we're too busy, right? We got to see who's going to win American Idol, or we got to see what the latest fashion trend is, or we got to see, did you hear about the YouTube beef between this beefer and that beefer and the beef and the beef and the beef? You got huh? Hello, is my mic on? They're enslaving us. We have robo-dogs like China walking the streets, unarming people. And you don't hear Congress go, who's controlling that? What? Look over there. What? What's over there? Pokemon. Oh, where? I didn't see Pokemon. What? I'm 30. I'm 40. I'm going to go to Disney World. Okay. Right. Time to wake up, people. Time to wake up. This thing is getting messy. It's getting ugly. And every single day, people are just becoming more compliant, more complacent, and easier to mold and manipulate. And that's what they want. Thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.